Thank you so much, Christian. And hey, Joseph.
I'd like you to say hi to Joseph now, maybe
Hey,
before you
Joseph.
leave.
And I want to
Hi.
say hi to all of the guys who had a lot of chats going on. I didn't quite had time to say hi to them.
And Christian here is saying hi to you
Hey,
too.
Christian, how are you?
Wow. No,
Yeah,
thank you so much now.
thank you so much, Christian. Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity. And I hope you inspire a lot of people.
Yes, yes. And please stay tuned. Keep watching. Hi, Joseph. How are you? I hope you heard what I was talking about. You. I'm like, in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, there are so many fields inside there. And you guys, worked with Joseph. We were planning to, we were going to go into, he was in aerospace as well, but then he ditched. So can you talk about that, how you ditched us in aerospace and went to another field?
Of course. How are you doing, Christian?
We can't hear you, Joseph. I think you're
Can't
muted. Yeah, now
Oh,
we can hear you.
oh, can you can hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. How are you doing today, Kirsten?
Thank you so much.
So yeah,
I
about
think you
my
need to put a notch up on your volume.
oh, okay. Hmm.
One more notch it up.
Oh, you can't hear me very loud.
Yes. Yes, now we can.
Oh, okay. Um, so your question was about my switch from aerospace, right?
Yeah, I think it's still not so clear. Your volume is
Hmm.
still zooming in and out.
Let me change my headsets. I think it
No
might be the
problem.
headsets.
Sure. I'll give you a few minutes, okay? So I'll wait for you. So, guys, hi, guys. Please put some comments. If you have questions, guys, leave some comments there, ask questions. Thank you so much for coming. And if you're coming here for the first time, guys, please don't forget to subscribe. This is a platform where we encourage girls pursue science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. There are very few women in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, and we're trying to see if we can talk about this. We can showcase engineers, scientists, healthcare professionals that have been through engineering, science, and technology. This is to show the girls that this career is doable, and also to share the challenges that they have, and also the some of the things they can also share. It's also, what they've gone through, what advice, and from you guys, your questions, we can ask these guys, what they are going through, what we need to learn from them. Joseph, are you ready?
Yeah, yeah. Can you hear me better now?
Much, much better.
Oh yeah, really, really sorry about the first time. So you asked a question about my decision to switch from from aerospace to another industry.
Yeah.
Um, so for me, as of the time I worked in aerospace, I think I was pretty early in the career. Well, I'm still kind of early in the career, but as of that time, my um much of my impulse was to move to another field to learn something more.
Yes.
Um, because it's part of what we talked about last week, that
Yes.
sometimes in STEM, the vastness of STEM makes it difficult for one to easily settle down in just one field. So
Yes.
one has to learn a little bit about, you know, pretty much learn something about everything before deciding to learn everything about something.
Yes.
So for me, that was part of what made me go from I was in aerospace for a couple of months, then I went to Transit, which is a company that manufactures trains,
Yes.
and I was there for about 8 months or so. After that, hi Mubanga. After that, I went to biotech and I've been there for a year and a half now, and I think I like it here.
Wow. I am so sad that you left aerospace. So, sometimes it's funny, you guys, because, but engineering is the same thing, regardless where you are. You want to still, you still experience the same things, but sometimes you want to share certain such a certain pain, certain
Yeah.
ideas. So I was like, Joseph, come on, you should come back to aerospace and things like that. Wow. So, Joseph, the other thing I want to ask you is, last time we talked about, how engineers can enhance themselves. So, what are the things that engineers can do to enhance themselves? We just scratched a little bit from last time.
Uh-huh. Um, I think the primary one is so we do I emphasize resume writing. I
Yes,
emphasize resume writing skills. A good resume, if you write a good resume, oh my gosh, it can move mountains for you. Like,
yes,
but the issue with writing a good resume is that one needs to have good experience to
yes,
put on a resume to make it good. To have a great resume, you need to have some content, some
correct.
good content to put in there, because the resume can only be as good as the content that is in the resume.
Yes,
So the first thing I would say is get skill, especially at the entry level. If you're in college, is I was at the NESB meeting a couple of months ago at CSUN to talk to the undergrads. And one thing I told them there was that, um, many of you work who are students have to work while you're in school to support yourselves. If you're
yes,
going to work while you're in school, it's always a great idea to find something related to what you're studying to work in. So um, let's pick a STEM career, for example, being a nurse, for example, because I know we've been talking a lot about engineering, so
yes.
we have to give something for the nurses and the
Health
doctors.
professionals, yes, yes, definitely. Because they're also part of this,
Yes,
yes.
they're also part of STEM. So if you're going to be a nurse, for example, a great a great side thing to do while you're a student is work as, say, as a nursing assistant, or work as a caregiver or something. Those things, they work hand in hand with your academic life, in
Yes,
that you're getting more knowledge from what you see in the field. You can relate it more, so you would end up having better grades. And of course, when you graduate from college, imagine you have a 4-year degree, and then you spend the last 2 years
yeah,
working part-time. And part-time, when working, you don't have to work full 40 hours while you're in college. I would say if you can work 10 hours, it's okay. You know, um, when if you imagine working 2 years, for the last 2 years while you're in college, you know, in the field, by the time you graduate, you already have 2 years of experience. So
yes,
you
yes.
have 2 years of experience and a bachelor's degree.
Mm-hmm.
That sets you above other candidates. A lot of people do think
You
that
know what?
grades are the most
Emphasize on
important
this,
thing.
Joseph.
Yes,
Emphasize on this.
yes.
Really, really important because
A lot
sorry
of
not to cut you short.
of
I
course.
just want to tell my viewers that I've also made another video concerning this. That work in the lab, go work. Help a professor, even if it's just volunteering. Go in there and help him out. Most professors they work. Most professors are so busy, not that they cannot do their job, but you can make their life much easier to go help them in the lab or the research. Just participate in anything that you can do. Yeah, go ahead, Joseph.
Yes, so I was saying that that experience is really important, because a lot of people do think these days that having good grades
Mm-hmm.
is the most important thing.
Yeah.
Right now, from what I've seen, having great grades will get you into a job
Yes.
ahead of someone with with worse grades than you, but it will not get you into a job ahead of someone with an advanced degree than you have.
Yes.
and it will definitely not get you into a job ahead of someone with more experience than you have. So there are people who graduate with, with great grades, but they can't find a job as easily as people with experience. I have a friend who put this into practice. Right now, he's working also in biotech. He's working in the manufacturing side of a biotech company,
Yes.
and he was in his final year in college when he actually started working. So by the time he was done with college,
Mm-hmm.
he had 1 year of experience. He had jobs lining up for him before
Yes.
he graduated. As a matter of fact, when he quit his final job or
Mm-hmm.
his most recent job to go to where he is now,
Mm-hmm.
his director was, pulling all sorts of antics just to keep him. And this is
Yes.
at a time in the country, in the United States, where companies were laying people off,
Yeah.
where it was hard to find a job. But for him, because of the experience he
Mm-hmm.
had just that, it really turbocharges your experience as a candidate if you
Yeah.
have some experience. And experience doesn't necessarily mean you need to get a job. You could work in something just related.
Yeah.
As an engineer, you don't have to work as an engineer while you're in college. You could be
Mm-hmm.
a 3D drafter, for example. I know
Correct.
someone who all he did was, make drawings,
Yes.
make drawings, things like that. And essentially, if you know how to do those things, I think that it helps your career move along much quickly.
Yes, and you can even ask for being a TA. We should have asked Nam about that earlier
Oh
on.
yeah,
Yes. Meaning you can support the professor, and that's what Nam did. He actually, someone who's like a tutor in the class, supporting.
yeah,
He's your peer. He's in your class, but they are more learned. They know, they understand more, so they use them
yes.
as TA in the class. And Nam was one of those which we benefited immensely from him. Uh, he used to guide us, and that's very true. So then Joseph, we also talked about some kind of certifications. How can they enhance themselves in terms of certifications, especially engineers, scientists, technologists, and professional healthcares?
Yes. So these days, and in 5, 10 years from now, it will become very, very clear that the pace at which the industry is changing, the pace at which the world is changing, requires some sort of retooling of the engineer, of being an engineer. It requires you to improve yourself continually. It requires you to sometimes change your skill set very quickly. You know, some there are entire industries that will be obsolete in 15 years from now.
Yes,
Um, some people believe that, say, an industry as lucrative as petroleum engineering, for example, some people believe that's going to be obsolete in 20 years.
yeah,
It's not going to be, there won't be as many jobs there as there are today. Um, so one thing is clear, one needs to learn how to develop a new skill in a short time. It's
yeah,
very important. One needs to learn how to develop a new skill in a short time. And the beauty about many of these new skills is that one does not necessarily have to go to a college or to a university to get like a 4 year degree. And one doesn't need that anymore. um, there are many organizations that are respected and reputed in the
yes,
industry that offer a lot of certification programs, and we can give many fields. Let's take a field like project management, for example,
yes,
and it depends on your field. In the project management, across all around the world right now in project management, the premium is the gold standard of being a project management is called the PMP, the project management professional.
yes,
That's like the premium. Right now, it's even some some companies would post jobs, and you'll be surprised to see that they will ask you either need to have an MBA or a
yes,
PMP.
Yeah, I
And the
remember
PMP
one
now
time.
is like an MBA on its own.
Exactly. Yeah. And I remember one time when we were in class, remember in one of our lecturers, and then I said, I see these companies asking for these certifications,
Mm-hmm.
and I have none. I'm about to graduate. I said, what are these? I was asking the professor, I'm like, what are these and how do I get them? But that's a mind of an engineer trying to ask. You see certain things your
Yes.
friends are having, or your friends are having certification, you become curious, right? You
Yes.
see things, you're like, okay, how can I be like that? How can I enhance myself so that I can get to another level? How do I get this course? We have to think like that. Yeah, go
Yes.
ahead, Joseph.
Yes. So in project management, there's the PMP. In other fields, in like software engineering, on the software engineering side of project management, there are some certifications like Scrum, which Agile Scrum. There's some where there's the CSM, that's Certified Scrum Master, and there are other certifications like that. In IT, there are the CISA, you
Yes.
know, different. So essentially, one good way to know what certification to take, this is
Mm.
one way that will work every single time. Go on LinkedIn, look for
Yes.
the kinds of positions you want to get into,
Mm-hmm.
and then look at the requirements.
Yes.
If you look at 20 job postings, you'll be it will be easy for you to know what jobs or what certifications you need to look into. Because you see some would keep repeating themselves,
Mm-hmm.
and it's not just certifications. Sometimes it's software,
Yes.
or in software engineering or computer science, it's a programming language.
Mm.
Sometimes there are some programming languages like C sharp, C plus plus, Java, JavaScript, HTML, you
Mm-hmm.
know. And if you're in data science, there are there's a coding language called R, and other things like the SQL, you
Yes.
know. So it depends on the field you want to go into. In nursing, you could have things like the certification there's called in the United States, there's one called the CNA, that's the
Mm-hmm.
Certified Nursing Assistant. That doesn't require any academic experience
No.
to get
Yes.
into. Um, so even a CNA position is something one can do while in nursing school.
Yeah.
While in nursing school, you can get a CNA certification and work as a CNA. Then there's the licensed vocational nurse. That's the LVN. That's higher than the CNA. After that, there's the registered nurse. Often
Yes.
you need an associate's degree or a bachelor's degree to be able to challenge the board for that certification for the registered nurse. And then there's the nurse practitioner. Usually you need like an advanced degree for that.
Yes.
But all of these careers have their own individual certifications that are the gold standards of
Mm-hmm.
the industry, at least for now. Because and I usually say it's better to put your energy on getting skills,
Mm-hmm.
especially in STEM. Now, I don't know about other fields like maybe banking or something like that. Maybe going to a school with a lot of reputation will help you with your career. But in engineering, it would be nice if you went to Harvard, but it wouldn't make a lot of difference in terms of the opportunities you will get. So you want to pay attention to your skills. You want to pay attention to crafting your experience to support your skill set.
Yes, yes. And that happens to anyone, guys, regardless of which field you are in. It's good to keep looking and saying, what else can I enhance myself? What else can I do? I think that would really, really help you instead of just being in the same area. Of course, it's comfortable. You don't have to study, you don't have to do anything, but it's worth trying. No, thank you so much, Joseph. We really do appreciate. Next time, maybe we can share with them all these, companies that are offering these certifications
Okay.
for different types of careers. Thank you so much, Joseph. So again, this platform, we encourage girls to pursue science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, Joseph. So I can't still let you go without asking. So what would you still say to a girl growing up out there? How can they venture into this career?
Yes. To any girl out there who is thinking about going into STEM, I want you to know that STEM is a field big enough to contain you and to contain as many boys as possible.
Mm-hmm.
In STEM, there's no gender. In STEM, what is required is to have a great STEM career. What is required is to come in there with the heart to learn, with the heart to serve, with the heart to make the community better. If you come in, there's space for you, there's a lot of
Mm-hmm.
opportunity. You cannot even imagine how big this field is.
Yes.
In the next 15 years or so,
Mm.
a study has been released by Google that
Yeah.
there's going to be a deficit of 25% of in terms of positions in STEM
You know what
that
I
they
was
need to
reading the
fill.
other day? They talked about 10 million positions.
Yes,
Guys.
a lot of like a huge
Mm.
deficit. And when you
Yes.
think about that, on even on the economic side, now this is a supply and demand issue. Now,
Yes.
and in demand and supply, once you see that the supply is short, then the
Uh-huh.
price goes up. So in STEM, when we don't have as many engineers as we need, then the pay of engineers has to go up. So
Exactly.
there's a lot of money to be made. But most of all, with STEM, you are you get the skills to be able to make your community better. You get
Better.
the skills to be able to improve the world around you. So STEM is, if you feel like going to STEM, I encourage it. If you don't feel like going into STEM, I still encourage it. You'll be amazed
That
to
way.
find what you'll be amazed to find. I certainly believe that in STEM, there's a career for everybody. There's a career for everybody in
Tell
STEM.
them there
There's a
is a
there's
career
something
for.
for everybody.
Yes, there is. Wow.
So I encourage everybody to, just to try it out. The fact that you're not good at math today doesn't mean you cannot be good at math tomorrow. It
Yes.
doesn't mean that the fact that you failed chemistry. I almost failed chemistry when I took my the equivalent of the SATs.
Yes.
um when I took that, I almost failed chemistry. I barely passed. But but I mean, I work in engineering now, so I
Guys
think
did
that
say
is
he
important.
nearly passed, but I'll tell you, I was with Joseph. He was doing his master's at the time when I was doing my bachelor's, and very dangerous, smart person. So, what I'm trying to say is, you may fail today or tomorrow, but it doesn't determine your destiny, right,
Yeah.
Joseph? It
No, it
doesn't
doesn't.
determine that you are that's the end of you. I always
Yeah.
give an example. I failed in grade 7. I repeated, my sister found me, and then I also failed in at when I was at Evelyn Horn. I had to repeat. I felt like 2 classes. I had to repeat again. So, guys, I just want to tell you that it doesn't matter what is going on with
Yeah.
you. You will be able to get through.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes. Yes, it's and I think that's something we need to encourage everybody to know, that you can always sometimes, and this is not just with STEM but with everything in life,
Yeah.
sometimes when you have an aspiration and you cannot see a way to make it happen because of the circumstance of today. um Sometimes that can be depressing, but this is what I would always tell everybody: just make a little step, a little
Hmm.
step, a little step, a little step. One day, when I was in the US, I worked for about 10 months as a delivery driver. I didn't believe that I could start work as an engineer, but I made a little step one day. I asked I went to deliver a package to a job, and I asked to a company, and I asked them at the company that, I was willing to work for free because I just needed that little step to get a foot into in the door. And they took a chance on me. I worked there for about a year. I went to college, you
Mm.
know. Then I took a little step, went to work at a low-paying job in aerospace. I took a little step, went to another company. I took a little step, and now I'm where I am. And it's these little steps, and sometimes in the moment it might not seem like a lot, but when you keep taking these
They
little
add
steps,
up to
one day you
something.
turn back and you'll be like,
Whoa.
oh, so just take that little step. You might have failed chemistry maybe this term or this semester. Study some more chemistry.
Yes.
Study some more chemistry. You can pass, and you will pass. Just study some more. Get somebody in your class who knows that better. Get
Mm.
somebody who's better at math. Be friends with them. Do your homework with them. you know Try to understand it. When the teacher teaches the class, ask the teacher questions. Even if the your classmates laugh at you today,
Mm.
eventually a day will come when they'll be coming
Yes.
to you to ask
Me,
you,
I used to
please
ask
help me
people that
out.
they want to make some sounds and look at me. In the end, I see them. The question that I asked when the professor starts explaining, everybody starts writing. I'm like,
Yeah,
I asked that question.
yeah,
Why are you guys?
yeah, yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
No, that's interesting. No, Joseph, thank you so much.
Of
I really, really
course, of
do
course.
appreciate. Thank you so much.